Hey everybody, Joey here, doing another pipe tobacco review for you. I haven't done one in quite some time, and I know many of you have asked me to do another one, which I have no idea why, because maybe you like being bored shitless. I don't know. But I'll go ahead and do one. And I did this particular tobacco many years ago. I did do a review on it. It's SILLEM'S Commodore Flake, and it is made in Germany, which is backwards, I guess. I didn't flip it around. I apologize. But I purchased this in October of 2015, so that I guess it's about 9 years old, and I stored it in a mason jar for 9 years. And even after that, when I pulled it out, the flake was still too wet to smoke. Um, there it is, very dark. And this tobacco is Burley, Latakia, and Cavendish. I do remember in my first review that the Cavendish was off-putting, not in this tobacco, but in general, because a lot of cheap drugstore tobaccos are heavy Cavendish with some syrupy topping on them, and it's horrible. This does not have that trait at all. And generally, like I said, I took it out of my mason jar that I had it stored in, and it was still wet. So I fold a flake in half, put it in the palm, and rub it onto a paper towel. And I let it sit for about 20 minutes to dry it out just a little bit. And it was about perfect. I'll be smoking it in my Nording from Denmark. This pipe is quite old, probably 60 years, maybe more. Handmade pipe, Nording. But this is an old one, oldie but goodie. It's got a large bowl. I like generally to smoke tobaccos out of a larger bowl. I think you get maybe a little more flavor, but that could just be me. Who knows? But anyway, we'll fire this German tobacco up. Jawohl, to all you Germans. I am German myself, so I can make fun of us all I want. So don't yell at me. But if you're German, you know how Germans are. Remember my grandma, when I was little, I don't speak much German, know a few bad words, but there she goes. Like I said, I might know a couple of words in German, but when I was a little kid, I remember, my grandma and grandpa came over on the boat, I think in the 1930s or something. But when I was a little kid running around screwing off and doing dumb nonsense, my grandma would yell at me in German. I didn't know what the hell she was saying, but I knew she meant business. So whatever it is I was doing to aggravate her, it stopped fairly quickly, because if you ever been yelled at in German by your grandma, it carries a little bit of weight, because German is not a beautiful language. I wouldn't classify it as that. It's pretty abrupt. Like the word for ambulance in German is Krankenwagen. So that doesn't sound like the Krankenwagen's coming up to help you. It sounds like they're going to drag you off to a meat grinder or something. But I'll quit knocking the Germans. I love my grandma. Don't get me wrong. But let's get back to what I'm supposed to be doing here. I get sidetracked with a quickness for really no reason whatsoever. So again, I apologize. Anyway, you do have to dry it out a little bit. If you try to light this right out of your tin, it's not going to happen. You're going to get frustrated and angry, and it's going to take away your enjoyment of the pipe. So the tin note of this Um, it smells fantastic. I'm going to tell you, there's no topping on this. But when you stick your nose in that tin, you get hit with like figs or raisins or something, like some kind of dried sweet fruit in the raisin or prune type category. And then a pretty deep, just raw tobacco smell. I've had some people say they get a floral note out of this stuff. I don't get that at all. At first light, you get that Latakia, trust me. If you don't like Latakia, you're probably not going to enjoy this all that much. But it doesn't punch you in the face like Joe Frazier. I mean, it's there. And again, I didn't watch my original review because I didn't want to bias myself. And I know this is going to taste different because it's got 9 years on it. And if you don't age your tobacco in a mason jar or something airtight and just have a tin from 10 years ago that you didn't open, it's really not going to age because they vacuum seal these things. If you keep it in a mason jar, the moisture doesn't go out of it, but it does. You will age your tobacco because it's not in a vacuum. So at any rate, definitely dry this one out a bit after you rub it out, um, or it's not going to light. Um, at any rate, it burns quite well if you let it sit for maybe just 20 minutes on a paper towel, in your house. You got to put it out in the sun or nothing. But the flavor of it, when you fire this thing up, it's pretty smooth. Um, and the burley is there. And as I mentioned, the Latakia is there too. It's certainly not overpowering. Those of you that like Latakia, you'll love this. Those of you who really don't care for Latakia, you might have a little problem with it. Um, you're not going to take your pipe and shake it. It's not like the Latakia is not that strong, but it's in the background. Um, the room note of this, I haven't asked like in a some kind of study and had people come in that don't smoke pipes, because we're tolerant of room notes of pipes because we smoke them. But I would classify this as pretty close to non-offensive. It's not quite like an aromatic or anything like that, but it's not cigarish or anything, even with the burley. But I smoked a bowl of this earlier because obviously I can't smoke a whole bowl or I'll be on here for 20 minutes. It's boring enough as it is. So essentially what I got out of it was it is fairly mellow for the strength of this. I mean, it's full bodied, but it's not harsh. It does not give you tongue bite at all, and I'm very sensitive to tongue bite. Some Virginias just absolutely kill me. I can't even finish a bowl. This has none to me. A very, very subtle fruitiness, almost like the tin note, but not as strong. I'm telling you, when you put your nose in that, you're going to want to almost eat that stuff. The tin note is fantastic. So after I do this review, I'll go back and look at my first one, but the nicotine level is high. Um, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd put it right around an 8. If you are not tolerant of high nicotine tobaccos, this will blow your hair back. I don't have any, but if I were a person that was not so tolerant of higher nicotine content tobaccos and I had hair, it'd be flapping in the wind. I am tolerant to it, so it's not going to make me sick or my head start whirling or spinning. But essentially, it does retain the slight hay-like flavor with a little bit of that fruitiness. The Latakia is not way up here. It's present. It's kind of, you'll taste a little bit of the smoky, spicy, almost like pepper, black pepperish, like fresh ground black pepper. It's got that going on, but it's not a harsh, burn your tongue, peppery type thing, like a hot sauce or something. And I'll tell you what, if you like Latakia and you are tolerant of higher nicotines, like I am, I'm telling you, this is in my top, I'd put it in my top 5. Easily, top 5. I love this stuff. So again, I'll reemphasize, if you are not tolerant of nicotine, put your big boy or big girl pants on, and I'd smoke it in a smaller bowl and kind of sip at it. If you go to town on this, if I went to town on this, it would probably do a little damage to me. But I'm screwing around with it a little bit here because I don't think I packed this precisely correct. Now I can tell it's going to keep going now, but now the video's almost over. At any rate, top notch. I would rate this 9 out of 10 stars, whatever you want to call them. Thumbs up, 9 out of 10. I could smoke this constantly, but I love it. It's good. I highly recommend it for whatever that's worth. And I hope you all the best. I hope everything for this new year is better than last year. And I hope you all have a great rest of 2024. And I'm signing off. Joey out.